Hey everyone, it's Timid. I'm back with another episode of Road to 1.2k. Yeah, 1.2k is where we're at. And today is going to be a actually interesting match. It's going to be a Caustic finale match between me and Andy's Nuts. And it's on Caustic. So I think I've gone over Caustic a million times in the past before. Um, So I'll just go over the CO picks that me and my opponent went with briefly here, I think. Just because I've gone over Caustic a million times before, it's fine. I don't need to really go over it again. It's a classic map. If you want to see me review it, go back to one of my earlier videos covering it. I've got like a more billion videos on it. Like there's an egg cup video on it. I'll bet there's one or two Road to 1K videos on it. It's fine. Just look in my archives. Anyways, so just looking at the CO data here. First of all, I'm favored with that 3% FTA overall. But here's the thing. My normal strat with the artillery, I can't really do because I'm playing against Javier here, right? So he gets extra defense against indirects, which is pretty good. I think I scouted him, and he's got Javier pretty high on his usage. Well, okay, I take that back. Sort of. You know what? Javier is about on par with Hawk, actually. So I was pretty sure he was gonna pick Javier because I scouted his CO distribution beforehand, which to be fair, you could also scout me, and like it's obvious that I'm gonna pick Hawk here, so yeah, this is an interesting lineup actually. So Sonya, who is the best CO, Max obviously, Hawk obviously. Sammy is actually pretty interesting here. I didn't realize I played so much Sammy, and then Jess obviously for tier 4 Fog, and possibly just tier 4. And then Adder's actually I've been using a little bit as well, a good amount. Anyways, but yeah, on Caustic, basically it's whoever you're most familiar with is most likely what I would expect you to pick here. Von Bullet actually has a 59% win rate here, which is interesting. I didn't actually really expect that. I feel like it's gone up since I actually looked at this for this match. Javier is down at 50, and then Hawk's at 56, right? Where's Storm 48? Yeah, because Storm isn't very good on this map. It looks like he's banned, actually. That might be why. Let's go to create game to figure that out, because top. Oh, interesting that it's just high and top right now. Oh, let's record the settings. Okay. Never mind. We're good. Yeah, so Von Bolt is actually banned in top tier. Meaning that you have a decision basically between Hawk and Javier. Sasha's a bit of a sleeper pick here, actually. Because she does get a good amount of money because this is decently high income. So it's going to be either... Well, but because Von Bolt isn't as much of a threat in this map, you can't really, like, cheese Von Bolt very easily on this map. So because there's no Von Bolt, because there's no Sturm, Sasha's a little bit less great because you could always just go up against a Javier, and then Sasha's kind of mid against Javier. Against Hawk, she's like fine because he's got a decent charge time. But anyways, just statistically looking here, Javier isn't quite as good as Hawk, and it's probably because there's just a bunch of properties on this map. I think it's like 20k per player at par. So yeah, I wouldn't pick Javier. Now, the only caveat that I have that makes Javier interesting on this map is because this is actually a pretty decent artillery map. So what you can do as Javier is basically either punish your opponent for going for artillery or force your opponent to just not build artillery, which means that you can build artillery and then basically zone out these corners pretty easily. Basically seize them for yourself, and then yeah, just play around that. Javier also can do some pretty fun stuff with the contested comm towers in the bottom left corner here. Like if Javier is able to grab both of these comm towers, he's 20-20, right? So that makes him really difficult to deal with if he manages to go for the comm tower sweep over here. So that's a lot of stuff. I wouldn't personally, well, actually, I kind of want to try out Javier on this map. It's at least once or twice, because I feel like he would be really interesting to play. I think like overall Hawk like sort of destroys him because it is a decently large map. There's enough income. Like if you're above 20k income, I'd say Hawk's superpower does enough, or even the little power does enough to basically just neuter anyone that isn't Sasha. Maybe Sturm, actually, depending on the map, if it's like an HQ rush type map, but other than that. Honestly, this map isn't even that good for... Well, actually, no, I take that back. Sturm demolishes down here. I forgot about the comm towers. No, Sturm absolutely just destroys in its bottom corner. Even though you don't get that much... like, you could just have it park a tank here, keep on parking tanks here, just send them back. We're not going to die, because there's this choke point here, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and get on with the replay. So, starting out here, we're just building infantry, as is pretty standard for the first couple of turns. Any interesting moves here? Oh, right, I forgot I did this. I open Recon. And the reason I'm doing this is because I sort of want to try, if I can maybe get Javier away from a comm tower, I will try to do that. So to counter this, oh wait, not yet. I thought he built the mech this turn, but he does build a mech here to counter my Recon, which I think is a pretty good move actually. It ends up working out for him pretty well based on what he's doing here. So he's got the mech here guarding his infantry. So I can't just like wander in with the Recon and clown on his infantry. The next turn he'll be able to afford a tank. Yeah, for sure. He'll be able to afford a tank. 11. Yeah, he'll be able to afford a tank without base skipping next turn. So overall pretty good. I just moved there to block his infantry. So basically delaying his HQ cap by 1 turn. I mean his comm tower cap by 1 turn. Which is giving me more time in which I don't have to deal with his annoying freaking defense. Because Javier just gets 10-10 for the comm tower. It's really, really solid. But yeah, at this point it's like, okay, what do you do here? Because other than fall back with the Recon. You could just fall back with the Recon. That would be the smart move here. Instead, I just charge the mech. Now, to be fair, I feel like although mechs are a little bit cheaper than Recons, I feel like overall it's basically an even trade, a mech for a Recon. And being able to take out a mech like this pretty easily, it just does wonders for my positioning later. That's why I almost always will go for a Recon into mech, even though it isn't necessarily optimal. It's mainly for a positioning thing, because it takes forever for, well, maybe not in this case because it's right next to a base, but usually it takes forever to get this mech around. So if you can just move in and neuter it with like a Recon, that's a lot of turns that you're wasting from your opponent with just like a couple turns from the Recon, even if it's a 1-to-1 trade, right? Even if he just takes out the Recon for it. In this situation, maybe I just fall back with the Recon, because maybe I could have harassed a little bit easier with it some other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because like he could have, if I hadn't gone in for that, he could have just moved his mech there his tank there, he would have secured the comm tower. Although, it isn't really that secure, is it? Because if he goes for the cap this turn, I can just move in with the infantry next turn. And I could have saved the recon. Well, we'll see how this ends up going. The other thing, too, right, is I think I might have wanted to just stand there with a recon. And the reason for that is be it a mech or a tank. They actually can't one-shot recons without any firepower boosts, and Javier's base is 0 firepower. So I could have wasted his turns a little bit there by just waiting. Is this C? Yeah, that's C. The only issue is like he would have put the mech in the mountain and then just finished off with the tank, so I don't think that would have mattered. And then if I had attacked into the infantry, it would have been the same sort of deal here. He would have been able to do a little bit of chip there, which would be just enough to make it so he could have killed with like just a mech or a tank hit. So overall, I think this is pretty smart to to just go straight for a mech. Well, sort of smart. It's okay. Actually, in hindsight, I did get pretty fucking lucky with the luck rolls here, because I did get a full 80. So putting them down to 2 HP there actually does. I think that does help a good amount. Even though, wow. I mean, it's a 2 versus a 3 HP freaking mech. It doesn't really matter. I don't think. Overall. But I did get lucky there by getting him down to 2 HP. It didn't matter because he had the tank anyway, so the tank will always do like at least 90. He'll always be able to finish off there, especially from if you got a counterattack from back in there. So that's fine. He's got a second tank here to sort of just try and get me off of the comm tower, basically. I actually go for the attack here, which is a little bit aggressive, I think. That's a good move with the tank, though, because his tanks are out of range here. But I think it would have probably been better to just cap myself over here, because he can't really contest these, and that way we're just being on par here. But I don't think there's any way that I actually stop him from capping the comm tower here. His infantry is weakened now, so it's going to delay for another turn, at least, but eh. And then Hawk going for the attacks here is, like, decent, but, well, like, the thing about Javier, right, is he gets the extra 10% firepower. So Hawk getting to plus to 20 nothing doesn't really matter because Javier's defense will just make it so that you can't wall break anyways. So I don't know if this is a move or not. I do have the tank guarding this guy here, so if he decides to move aggressive, he can't really move that aggressive with the tanks. He can move in against this guy, but he can't really move in against this guy. So okay, yeah, he goes into the forest. And he does actually go for my infantry here. But he's going to take a first strike from this tank here for sure. In response here. He's got another mech coming out here. I don't know about that. Like the tank here, I think is fine. Well, is it? Well, I'm gonna get 2 tanks plus 2 infantry next turn. So I'm not sure that this is the correct move. I would probably have gone for maybe an artillery here, so that he sort of could have started pushing down this way, because hitting him in artillery in this area would be fantastic. Whereas him having a tank here is just leading to me building a tank here and It's just having a tank battle in this area. So I don't know about this move. I think infantry in this area is like the best thing to do because it's going to be a stalemate either way. Basically, whatever resources you pour into this area, your opponent's going to mirror, and it's sort of just a stalemate. But since he has the defense against indirects, I can't really build a artillery in this bottom corner. So if he had built one of his own, he could have used that and had like sort of free reign with the artillery down here. Same with this area. I go for it. I don't actually get much out of it because I'm at 3 health. I don't think there's like any chance I get down to 3, is there? No. I don't know why I tried. Well, I mean, it's damage, I guess. It's damage. So I get the first strike there. If I were a bit better with the spacing here, maybe... Well, no, I needed to charge into this city. That's right. Because I wanted to secure the city is what I wanted to do here. So I'm preventing him from capping this city as well with the infantry here. I just was very annoying here for this entire match with that. Basically, the infantry here. Take out the infantry, just finish them off. And as far as unit count goes, we're about neck and neck. At the end of my turn, I think he's going to be ahead a little bit in unit count because I threw away some stuff over this way for I guess a moral advantage. Like, he's going to be able to take out my tank there. But the thing is, it's within reinforcement range of this guy, so I'm going to win this at the end of next turn, even though he took out my 1 tank. He's got a mech in this quadrant, which is not bad to back up his tank. It's just, I don't know why he built the tank to begin with. Probably should have got him like early here, maybe. And then just save the tank, save the income for resources somewhere else. Like, that's the one thing about Javier that is sort of his niche, is you're able to build artillery, whereas your opponent kind of can't, is sort of his gimmick. So I basically take out that infantry. Because he got the defense now, it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually finish off his units. Which I'll do it wherever I can. But to be honest, getting a unit down to 1 health is almost as good as killing them outright. Even though they can still like block with them, it's still pretty good. So he pops his power. Javier's tower shield is pretty good now. He's at 2020. Which will allow him to wall break if he wants. I'm not sure if there's anywhere that he can really do so, though. That would be to his advantage. But the extra defense is nice. The extra defense is real nice. Like, it's going to let his mech survive there, I guess. It's going to let him sort of charge. I don't know what he was doing with the 1 health guy there. Like, he could have just used it to block. That would have been fine. He takes out some infantry over here, which isn't bad. So overall, a pretty good turn. Plus, on my phase, he's still going to have that extra 20% defense, so it's going to be difficult for me to actually retaliate. Which is fine by me, honestly. I can just wait around and just heal a bit. Him being on 5 health here kind of sucks because it's going to be a 4 turn capture on that property. So my infantry rush here paying dividends at least a little bit here. This guy finishing off the mech as well. Building the recon here actually as a sort of substitute instead of the artillery works pretty well here because he doesn't really have any tanks in this area to warn me off, so I can just deal free damage to his infantry with the recon. Recons aren't useless in standard. I like them. The only thing is, you generally don't want to open them. I did open recon this time, but there was a reason to do so. It may not have been the best reason, but it did put a lot of pressure on him over here. So he had to pour a lot of resources into the left side here. Meaning I sort of, I don't know, like the mech build, forcing him to build one mech. He built 2 mechs in this area as well. And the issue with mechs is they're really, really slow to move. So him basically pouring an artillery's worth of funds into mechs in this area is pretty beneficial, I would say. Because mechs are pretty vulnerable if you can get them when they're in open terrain. And because they have such low movement, they're often going to be in open terrain. Unless they want to move like one tile at a time. So, yeah, overall, I'm a little bit behind in unit count, I would say, overall. But as far as funds, okay, never mind. My opponent's ahead in funds now. But we'll see that change in a little bit here. Okay, I do have the music. Good. For a second there, I was like, did I forget to do the music? But no, we're fine. So I'm going to be able to capture bees in another turn or so. Actually managing to finish that guy off. Get a kill there. I think we get... Do we get the tank kill here? No, we just sit in place and sort of wall off in this area. And then we got a block of 3 tanks over here. We got a block of, I guess, 2.5 total tanks over here to ward off his 2.5 plus mech. Which isn't bad. The reason why tanks are much better than mechs defensively here is because he could always just first strike the mech and basically make it useless. Although, to be fair, mechs on cities are pretty tanky still. So we go mech, city, tank. Attacking from, I guess, like the forest. Look, as you can see, it's still going to do a good amount back. But he is taking off like half a mech. It'll be a 7 health mech though at the next turn, so I'll be able to do something like he'll be at like 8. I'll be at 7, and I'll get a decent first strike. I guess from like the road maybe. So overall, like cost effective, right? With mech there. But I still think the tanks are better overall because you can move them around a bit more. So he moves in with the tank there kind of aggressively. But it is out of range of my tanks, I believe. Yeah, all 3 of them. So that's not bad for him. He's finally building an artillery to push down this way, but I have enough tanks in this area where I'm not sure if that's going to matter. But he's got, like... He's moved all of his tanks to just go all in this area at this point. He's got, like, 5-6 tanks here. Like, that's ridiculous. And he actually does manage to kick my recon off of that city there. Which is a bit unfortunate, but whatever. So I pop my power here. Get a black wave off. And that's really nice. Like, so this is how it is. Well, honestly, didn't do much healing wise, but it did take off like a tank's worth of health from him. And I'm going to be able to, I guess I have about half of another black wave ready in reserve. But what I'm really happy about here is getting him down to 9 health on most of his units does allow me to just start piercing through his defenses a little bit better. And I'm able to just move in, sort of swarm him a little bit with my tanks. So I weaken most of his here. He's going to be able to, I think, take most of these guys out on retaliation, which is unfortunate, but hey, it's a good push, okay. It's a decent push. And I've got the medium tank to sort of clean up in this area. And I base skip for it, which will be... It is important to get the medium tank here, because she's got like 5, 6, 7 tanks in this area. Like, it's definitely warranted at this point. So as you can see, he's going to be able to take out my tanks there. Basically all of them. In retaliation. He's got artillery here to sort of deal with the medium tank. That's fine. And actually, he's pretty far ahead in unit count and value at this point. But I did just take the income lead by flipping this city here, which is important. He still hasn't taken this guy in the top left, which must be annoying for him. I take out the infantry for free there, so he can't really advance here and capture anything. Basically take out his mech. And I tried for the ship there with the infantry. It probably would have been better to just sit in place, but whatever. And then I go for this cap as well, which should be basically guaranteed because he doesn't have any units in range to blast through here and attack into this guy. So that's another property I'm going to flip over next turn. I'm ahead in unit count for the time being, but that's going to change by the end of my opponent's turn for sure. So he just charges, and he pops Tower Shield as well, which is pretty good. After getting those pretty guaranteed chips there, he goes for this. Because he does want to charge up his meter a little bit extra so that he'll be closer to getting another 1Vs next turn. It's a very good burst strike on my tank there. Gets a medium tank of his own. So what do I do in retaliation? This guy. Okay, he does. I think he did manage to take that guy out. And I think he joined Cap there as well, possibly. So I get this city. I get this city. So I'm 4K income ahead at this point. And we're basically neck and neck in terms of unit count. So as you can see here, the income lead coming in clutch here for me. I take out his artillery more or less there. And then I just go for a second medium tank. Because I'm assuming I'm going to be able to just chain the medium tanks at least a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty sure I moved the tank into that forest so that I can keep this more or less guaranteed. But we'll see. That's what I should have done. Okay, and then I move in here with the infantry. I do mess this up a little bit. I do mess this up a little bit here, but not quite yet. This, so far so good here, right? Got 4 infantry over here. I've got my tank to back them up. All he's got here is like a recon, which isn't bad, but yeah, and also, as you can see here, Tower Shield putting in work here. It's got like 20% defense plus the city here, make it so that I only do 3 damage to the infantry, which is enough to interrupt the cap for at least a turn, but like, what happens to my income? There we go. I don't know why it freaking glitched there for a second, but whatever. So he gets a decent burst strike on my medium tank here. Which is good for me in a sense, because it makes me get closer to my next black wave. He goes ham on my infantry there. Nearly takes out my medium tank there, but not quite. Not quite. It's fine for the time being. And he pops Tower Shield at the end of his turn. I think he's just barely able to get it. So he's going to try and negate the effects of my black wave next turn. If I pop it, basically. But yeah, he's able to start shredding through my infantry a little bit here. Unfortunately for him, he's not able to stop me from capping this property as well. So I'm going to be ahead a significant amount of income here in a second. If not value, like 50 to 80k. That's kind of ridiculous, but okay. Anyways, so I go for the cap here. Now, here's what I could have done. Here. So he moved in, right? What I could have done here is... Well, let's see what I did do. Yeah, I go for the cat bear. I go for the kill on the infantry. And then I pop the black blade. See, that's my problem here. Is I was relying... I forgot that he had tower shield up. So what I should have done here was pop black wave and then attack here. Because then I would have killed there. And then I would have been able to wall off this tile with my infantry, and then I would have guaranteed this capture. But I fucked it up. And this guy lived on 1 health. So there's Javier's extra defense coming in clutch there. He's like got 30. Well, it's 30% actually defense because of you get the 10% plus his power. So that's 30% total defense when he pops it. So that's coming in real clutch for him. But yeah, I get the really good first strike here on this guy in the plains. Basically neuter his medium tank at this point. And I just push. Effectively stop him from capping it there. So as far as income goes, he's not really going to be able to cap anything, which is going to be a massive issue for him. Because I'm ahead 5 properties at this point. So really bad for him. But yeah, he goes for the attack with the infantry, and then he goes for the tank there, which is unfortunate. Like, I could have could have flipped that real easily, but oh well. He goes for the cat bear, which I think he's going to be able to get. Because he's got enough units to wall off there, which is solid for him. My medium tank is staying alive here, like desperately just staying alive. So I take out the tank, take out the artillery, take out the tank as well. So overall, not bad. Take out the mech with the infantry rush there. Well, basically neuter the mech. And then just push, push, push. And just like that, I'm ahead in unit count and value again. So, like, as you can see here, Hawk able to make massive freaking flips in the blink of an eye here. He goes for the medium tank, and then he's like, I'm not able to kill this medium tank, I'm done. And he wasn't able to take the medium tank, so he resigns there. Overall, really well played from my opponent. I feel like he would have been better served building artillery here a bit earlier. And then he put artillery into this area, which isn't great. Because this area is pretty open. But he sort of just charged my medium tank with a single artillery at a time, which also wasn't great. Because I was able to just charge him back with the medium tank, and since the medium tank was able to just take out the artillery with first strike, it's like it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'd say being able to play really effectively in this area is what ended up winning me the game. And he did have artillery in this area. It's just it wasn't in position by the time I had my infantry mob just capping everything here. So I started flipping everything basically. I don't think that his position is going to get any stronger from here. Like, he'd be able to interrupt this cap still because he can take out this guy with the recon and interrupt with the tank plus the mech. So he's going to keep his comm tower still. But I'm going to be so far ahead in income. Like, he's going to flip this, take this, and then potentially flip this. I guess he could get an artillery shot off here, but then he'd lose the artillery, the infantry. This tank's not going to be able to do too much. I've got 2 medium tanks. Well, a medium tank plus an injured one, which is going to be able to heal up still. And the unit count medium tank is pretty huge here. Especially since I'm ahead in income, I can afford extra repairs from it. So yeah, I feel like me just going for the little power on Hawk. I feel like so Black Storm is really, really good on Hawk. But I feel like I've been using Black Wave a lot recently, and it's ended up being really nice as well. So it came in clutch a lot here. like just barely, like shipping down Javier's, all of Javier's units a little bit is really nice, because it not only does it sort of force him to go back for repairs and makes him waste a bunch of money on that, but it also helps negate his defenses a little bit as well, which is really nice and helpful. Anyways, that's it for today. Next week's match should be, let's see, where are we at? We're actually pretty close to the present. It's gonna be, it's gonna be this one versus Seraphesk on Crimson Canals V2. It's gonna be High Fun Tier 1. So, actually, I remember this match. This was me not understanding the gimmick. but this is a cool map. So make sure to stay in, and the gimmick is actually really cool on this as well. So I'll be able to show this off. It's still in Global League as well, so you can get some tips as to what to expect from this map. It's a really cool map. Anyways, stay tuned in for that next week. And yeah, I guess like and subscribe and all that other nonsense, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.